Welcome back, it's Zion from Uke On Demand, and this week we're teaching Cielito Lindo. What you just heard was our low G arrangement, which is also what this tutorial is based on, but we also have a high G set of tabs available as well, and throughout the tutorial I'll be pointing out some of just a few small differences between the two versions. If you're using the high G tabs, you can still easily follow along with this low G tutorial. There are just a couple notes that are different, and I point them out along the way. We're going to go over the first two bars in this video, but you can get the entire tutorial and all the tabs at ukeondemand.com. So to begin, I'll play through this bar just once so you can hear how it goes. And that's bar 1. To play that section, we're going to start with our ring finger on the 3rd fret of A now and strum our C chord. Leave the chord there and pick the 3rd fret of A. Then pick open A, so take your finger off. And then the open C string. Then the 2nd fret of A, and you'll want to use your middle finger for this 2nd fret of A. And the reason why you want to use your middle finger is so that it can stay there while your ring finger comes over to the 3rd fret of E, and you pick that once. And the next two measures are exactly the same as the two we just played. So again, that's that going back to our C chord, strum once, pick the 3rd fret of A, then open A, C string, 2nd fret of A, 3rd fret E. And that's the end of bar 1. Let's go back to the beginning of this bar and just play it together very slowly. And let's do it one more time, if you think you can do it a little bit faster. And one last time at full speed. Now bumping down into bar 2. It's going to start off pretty much the same as bar 1. You've got that. But the last half of this bar is going to be very different. So the first two you've already learned. It starts again with that C chord, picking 3rd fret of A, open A, C string, 2nd fret A, 3rd fret E. And just to clarify, that A note by itself, that open A, that it carries over from one measure to the next. We're not playing it a second time. That's why you've got that little, you've got that line there. So it carries over into that measure. The C string though, this underneath it, that C note, does not carry over. So that's why you pick that by itself. So if you're a little confused about that, that's just all that means. The A string carries over into that next measure, C note is by itself. Alright, but now moving into this last half of the second bar, you're going to get a section like this. And I'll go ahead and play through it all together once just so you can hear it in context. And so on. And so that's the little section we've got going on right here. And I'm to show you how to play it, and then also an easier way to play it in case that one's a little complex for you. So as it's written, we now have, in the sea of quarter notes, we have this triplet. And we're going to just pick the 2nd fret of E, or 2nd fret of C, with the 1st fret of E. Just like that. Once you pick those strings, you're immediately going to hammer with your ring finger to the 3rd fret of the E string, just like that. And once you hammer, you're going to pull off to reveal go back to the first fret of E again. So all together would sound like this, just like that. Now, if hammer-ons and pull-offs are a little complex for you, I'm going to show you a way around it. So we can pretend that the first note, that picking the first fret of E with the second fret of E together, or first fret of E with second fret of C together, we can pretend that note is a quarter note and skip the two notes after it. So essentially it would go from picking the two strings together to just picking the second fret of C. And that would be the simplified version. It doesn't sound as nice. I'll play it in context just so you can hear it. Doesn't quite sound as fancy as, but again, if you find that part a little complex, you can totally simplify it down and it will still sound good in the context of the song. So no matter which way you play it, going over into the fourth measure on the screen, and it begins with the open G string. Now, if you are using, this is a low G ukulele. Now, if you're using our high G arrangement, then you can see that note actually is bumped up to the second fret of C. And so it switches from that G into a D. And then we've got this fast section right here. It's all eighth notes. And so it's going to be a little faster than all the quarter notes we've been dealing with so far. It's going to start out with an open E string, first fret E, third fret E, open A. Now, technically, and those are all the notes, they're much closer together. Technically, you can pick them individually fast enough, but it's going to be a lot more efficient if you use hammer-ons. So, hammering onto the first fret, and it'll look like this. So, and if you're not quite sure what hammer-ons and pull-offs are, or if you're not very comfortable on using them, we do have tutorials on them in our techniques library at ukeondemand.com. But for this tutorial, this little section right here would definitely be a section I would recommend using hammer-ons. They're not completely necessary, since technically the song, you could pick them fast enough so the hammer-ons wouldn't be needed, but it will make it a lot more efficient. You're playing a lot more efficient. And then after that, you launch immediately into the G7, which is in bar 3. But before we go there, let's go back and play this bar together very slowly, starting with that C chord. And so on. That's the first, how to play the first two bars of Cielito Lindo. To get the rest of the tutorial and all the tabs, head over to ukeondemand.com and subscribe below so you don't miss our upcoming fingerstyle songs. We'll see you next time.